Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Cyberdark deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely fun deck to play that can summon out one of the most insane boss monsters ever created, Cyberdark in Dragon. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. So without further ado, let's go and get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing a single copy of Cyberdark Worm. Cyberdark Worm is an amazing one-of in the build that we just got out of Alliance Insight, and this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard. And if this card's in your hand or your graveyard, and you have another cyber monster that's a machine monster on the field or in the grave, you can actually send a Cyber Dragon monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard to special summon this card. Then add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your graveyard to your hand, which is a great ability to be able to use, but you can only use it once per duel. We play 2 copies of Cyberdark Chimera. Cyberdark Chimera is really good as a 2-of in the build and just an awesome card overall because this card actually searches Power Bond to help us step into our fusion plays. This card is good, you discard a spell or trap card to add a Power Bond from your deck to your hand. Also, you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters as fusion materials of this turn. Also, once, when you do fusion summon this turn, you can also banish monsters from the graveyard as a material, making it super easy to fusion summon with this card. This card also has a crazy power effect that if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can actually send a Cyberdark monster from your deck to the grave with a different name from the cards in your graveyard, which is a great effect combined with your copy of Cyberdark Worm. We then play a single copy of Cyberdark Horn. Cyberdark Horn is great as a 1-of in the build because when this card is actually summoned out to your side of the field, you get to pick a level 3 or lower dragon type monster in the graveyard and equip it to this card. And this card gains attack equal to the equipped monster's attack points, which is a great effect. Plus this card does piercing damage. And play a single copy of Cyberdark Edge. Cyberdark Edge is great because this card can actually attack your opponent directly, which is so cool about this card and shares the exact same effect as your copy of Cyberdark Horn to be able to equip a level 3 dragon monster from your graveyard to this card. The only downside of this card is when it does attack your opponent directly, it does half damage. And play a single copy of Cyberdark Keel. Keel is really good as a 1-of in the build, and this card is just awesome in the deck to be able to just summon out to your side of the field, equip a level 3 dragon monster from your graveyard to this card, and when it destroys a monster by battle, it actually does 300 points of additional damage to your opponent, which is a great effect, but we're basically just playing these cards in the deck so we can go in for a copy of Cyberdark Dragon. We then play 3 copies of Cyberdark Claw. Cyberdark Claw is really good in this deck as a 3-of and just an awesome card overall in the deck. As if this card is sent to the graveyard, will equip to a monster, you can actually target a Cyberdark monster in the graveyard and add it back to your hand. And this card also has the ability that you can discard this card to add a Cyberdark spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And during damage calculation, if a monster equipped with this card battles, you can actually send a monster from your extract to the graveyard, which is a great effect to get the exact card you need in the graveyard. And play a single copy of Cyberdark Cannon. Cannon is great, but you only need a single copy of this card in the deck because this card is built you can actually discard this card to add a machine Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand, which is a great ability to recover the exact card you need to your hand. Also, during the damage calculation, if a monster go to this card battles, and you can actually send a monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play 3 copies of Cyber Dragon Core. Cyber Dragon Core is definitely a 3-of in the build because when this card is normal summoned, you can add a Cyber Spell or Trap from your deck to your hand, grabbing the exact card that you need going full combo. We then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Hertz. Hertz is great in this build as a 1-of because if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one other Cyber Dragon from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a pretty cool effect. We then play a single copy of Cyber Dragon Nashter. Nashter is really cool in this build because this card has the ability, this card's name becomes Cyber Dragon while in the field or in the graveyard, just like your copy of Hertz and Core, but this card also has the ability that you can actually discard one of the monsters special in this card in the hand, and if this card is normal or special summon, you can actually target a machine monster with 2100 attack or defense in the graveyard and special summon him. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for machines, which is totally fine. with my single copy of the original Cyberdragon. This card is just a really good combo piece in the deck and a super nostalgic card in this build. And you guys know we've got to play the dark alternative art for the Cyberdark deck, so definitely give us a like for this video. And my single copy of Cyber Jormungandr is very interesting in this build and just a great card overall in this deck to be able to play, because this card has the ability it cannot be normal summoned or set, it must be special summoned by a card effect, and if your opponent controls a monster, you can actually special summon this card in the hand, then take a Cyberdragon from the deck, and either special summon it or equip it to this card as an equip spell, instantly giving you 2 monsters on your side of the field to make a copy of Nova and then Infinity to basically just help you go in for a play to protect you from summoning out your copy of Cyberdark and Dragon. This card also has a great ability that this card has an insane effect that you can actually return a Cyberdragon you control back to your hand and a polymerization from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a pretty cool effect to actually use in this deck because we want to be able to fusion summon, so we actually play a single copy of polymerization in this build so we can actually grab it off of Jormungandr's effect. We then play a single copy of Terverion KingJackGames. Terverion KingJackGames is just really good in this build because it's super easy to actually establish a walking negate on our side of the field, plus this card is searchable off Clockwork Knight. We play a single copy of Bestial Magnamut. Magnamut is great in this build to actually help us search out our dragons, plus this card is just an awesome card to be able to use as an extender to let you target a light or a dark monster in either player's grave and banish it, and if you do, special summon this card from your hand. It's a quick effect if your opponent controls a monster, and if this card is special summoned, you can activate this effect that during the end phase of this turn you get to add a dragon monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to use because we can actually grab our copy of Cannon or Claw from our deck to your hand off this card's effect, or you can grab a copy of Druid Swarm just to help us spot remove cards off the field. Druid Swarm is definitely a 1-of in the build and just a really cool card to play in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom to round out the monsters. Ash Blossom is definitely a 3-of in the build. Basically just stop your opponent from touching the deck. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get into the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Cyber Eternal. Cyber Eternal is really good as a 1-of tech card in this build, and I really am enjoying playing this card in the deck. It actually lets you target a machine Cyber Fusion monster in the graveyard and return it back to the extract or special summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions, basically being a monster reborn for a machine Cyber Fusion monster in the graveyard, which is a great effect once you actually properly summon out one of your monsters to your side of the field. You can just use this card to bring back your copy of Cyber Darkness Dragon, which is an insane ability to instantly bring back Cyber Darkness Dragon to your side of the field so you can actually establish a negate. So this card is definitely a 1-of in the build. Also, if a machine Cyber Fusion monster you control would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can actually banish the card in the grave instead, giving you a little bit more protection, which is great. We can play a single copy of Clockwork Knight. Clockwork Knight is searchable in this deck, which is just playing a single copy in the build. And this card is awesome to help you go in for your copies of your Fortress Dragon. And this card is able to all face-up monsters in the field become machine monsters, and machine monsters you control gain 500 attack and defense, and also machine monsters your opponent control lose 500 attack and defense, which is a great effect. And you also banish a card in the graveyard to be able to discard a card and then add an Earth Machine monster from your deck to your hand, which is your copy of Terverion KingJackGames. We then play a single copy of Polymerization. Polymerization is searchable off your copy of Jormungandr, which is why I play this card as a 1-of in the build, just to help us keep going in for our fusion plays. We then play 2 copies of Power Bond. Power Bond is awesome in this deck and searchable off your copy of Chimera, just to help us summon out the exact fusion monster we need to our side of the field so we can go in for game, because this card actually doubles the attack points in the monster we summon with it, which is crazy powerful. We then play 3 copies of Cyber Emergency. Cyber Emergency is basically the Rhoda for the deck, instantly bringing out the exact monster you need because it lets you add a light machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, or a Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. So you can actually search Cyber Dragon Core from your deck to your hand off this card's effect, so you can go full combo. We then play 3 copies of Cybernetic Horizon. This card is one of my favorite cards in the entire deck because this card is always treated as a Cyberdark card, and you get to send 2 dragon and or machine Cyber monsters with different attributes to the graveyard, 1 from your hand and send one from your deck to be able to add a dragon or a machine cyber monster from your deck to your hand. And if you do, send a machine cyber fusion monster from your extract to the graveyard. You only activate one of this card per turn, and you cannot special summon monster in the extract the turn you activate this effect except for machines, which is totally fine. So we're basically using this card to help us get our copy of Cyber-End-Dragon to the graveyard, so we can basically summon out our copy of Cyberdark-End-Dragon, which is such a cool ability to instantly bring it out to your side of the field once we've actually equipped it to our copy of Cyber-Darkness-Dragon, so we can basically just tribute it and summon out our copy of Cyber-Dark-End-Dragon, which is so cool to be able to summon. We then play 3 copies of Cyberdark Realm. Cyberdark Realm is essentially one of the most powerful cards in the entire deck. With the ability, when it's activated, you get to add a Cyberdark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from cards in your graveyard, which is why I play so many 1-ups in this build. And notice this card is revealed during the main phase. Immediately this effect resolves, you can normal summon a Cyberdark monster, which is a great effect to instantly give you an additional normal summon for your Cyberdarks, which is so cool. Also, if you equip a monster from your graveyard by the effect of a Cyberdark monster activated when it was normal or special summon, you can equip a card from your opponent's graveyard instead, which is a crazy powerful effect to help you get rid of cards out of your opponent's graveyard using your copy of Horn, Edge, and Keel, which is crazy powerful. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get in to the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 3, and that's going to be 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is really good as a 3-of in the build, just to stop your opponent's monster effects and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. This card is an amazing 3-of in the build, just an awesome trap card just to shut down your opponent's plays where you're going in for game, summoning out all your insane fusion monsters. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with Cyberdark-End-Dragon. This card is crazy powerful because it's basically unaffected by everything, and it's super easy to summon out to your side of the field, with the ability that it must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing a level 10 or lower Cyberdark fusion monster equipped with a Cyber-End-Dragon, which is always going to be your copy of Cyber-Darkness-Dragon that you're going to attribute on your side of the field, equipped with Cyber-End-Dragon to be able to summon out this card. And this card has a crazy powerful effect that it's unaffected by your opponent's activated effects, and once returned, you can equip one monster from either player's graveyard to this card, and this card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of cards equipped to this card, which is insane. This 5,000 attack point monster can help you go in for game by attacking multiple times. With my single copy of Cyber-Darkness-Dragon. Cyber-Darkness-Dragon is actually very easy to summon, besides the fact that it requires 5 Cyberdark effect monsters to be able to make it, which is actually pretty easy in the deck to be able to get them all in the graveyard, so you can actually go in for a power bomb play to summon out this card, especially Chimera, letting you use cards in the graveyard to help you fusion summon. This card is it takes 5 Cyberdark effect monsters to make this card, and it must first be fusion summoned, and this card is special when you can actually equip a dragon or machine monster in the graveyard to this card, which is a crazy powerful effect to instantly equip Cyber-End-Dragon this card, so you contribute to summon out your copy of Cyberdark-End-Dragon, which is great. Also, this card gains attack equal to the original attack of the monster equipped to this card by this effect, and when your opponent activates a card effect, quick effect, you can actually send an equipped card you control to the graveyard to negate the activation if you destroy that card, which is a crazy powerful effect. Only a single copy of the original Cyber-Dark Dragon. This card is just too cool not to play as a 1-of in the build, and it's actually easy to summon out to your side of the field since we are playing Cyberdark Horn, Edge, and Keel, so it's very easy to actually summon in this build. We then play a single copy of Cyber-End-Dragon. Cyber-End-Dragon is great as a 1-of in the build, just to be able to equip to your copy of Cyber-Darkness-Dragon, so you can basically just treat it and summon out the copy of Cyberdark-End-Dragon. What's really cool is actually both of these cards are misprint and stamped with each other, which is something that happened when the Cyber Dragon structure deck actually came out for Cyberdark, which which is very interesting because you can actually see these stones that should be over here on this card, and the actual imprint of blue over here for the different Cyber Dragon jewel, which is really interesting about this card. And it's very cool that both of these are actually misprinted with each other, so definitely give us a like for that one. We then play a single copy of Chimera Tech Rampage Dragon. Rampage Dragon is great because you can attack multiple times, and also you can use this card to be able to pop spells and traps, which is great. I'm playing a single copy of Mega Fleet. Mega Fleet helps you out monsters in the extra monster zone, which is great. So this card is definitely a one of in the build. I'm playing a single copy of Fortress Dragon. Fortress Dragon is great when you have your copy of Clockwork Knight on your side of the field. You can actually out all the monsters on your opponent's side of the field, which is great. So this card is definitely a one of in the build. Helps out a lot in this deck. I'm going to see a copy of the Mechanical Dawn. Mechanical Dawn is really cool to be able to summon out the Power Bomb because it actually has 0 attack points, so you won't take any damage for this card. This card is also really good in this deck because if this card is Fusion Summon, you can activate this effect that during the standby phase of the next turn, you can actually add a card from your graveyard to your hand with the effect that Fusion summons a monster, meaning you can actually grab Power Bond back out of your graveyard just in case you need to if you're going first. And also, when your opponent activates a spell or trap card or effect, quick effects, you can banish one of their face-up light machine monster that you control, or 2 light machine monsters from the graveyard to negate the activation, which is a really cool effect. My single copy of Elder Intinis. So when you do send this card to your graveyard with your Cyberdark equipped monsters, you can actually just pop a card on the field. You lay a single copy of Nova and a single copy of Infinity. This card is very easy to summon out to your side of the field now, especially since we're playing Jormungandr and the deck is a 1M. So it's very cool to be able to just instantly bring this card out to your side of the field to protect your plays where you're trying to step into your copy of Cyberdark and Dragon. We lay a single copy of SP. SP is great just to be able to use this card as a double interruption. One copy of Cyber Dragon Seeger. Seeger is really good because it makes your monsters absolutely massive on your side of the field. And then finally, 2 copies of Clockwork Knight with a K. This card is really good to be able to summon out to your side of the field, and just really good to be able to summon out to basically search out your Clockwork Knight spell card. And it's actually very easy to use in this build because it just requires a non-link machine monster with 1,000 or less original attack points, which the deck is full of those monsters in this build. And also this card has the effect that if this card is link summoned, you can send a face-up continue spell you control to the graveyard to add a Clockwork Knight from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to instantly grab it by sending your copy of Cyberdark Realm from your spell and trap card zone to the graveyard that you've already used to search, so you can grab Clockwork Knight from your deck to your hand, which is just really cool to be able to do. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have not played Cyberdark before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's super fun to be able to play, and it's just such a fun deck to help you just go in for game. Something got some of the coolest boss monsters in the entire game, like Cyberdark and Dragon. So that's gonna do this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So later, guys.